Okay, we are back with my next part of my Dreamworks rankings. As you can see, here are the movies that we've already been through, the ones that I have not seen or don't remember, terrible or awful as I put there, bad, mid, good, ironic enjoyment, amazing, top 10, top 5. And one thing that I'm gonna move down, Puss in Boots, the more I think of it, it gets a bit worse every time. It's not really bad, it's just painfully average, really, is the best way to describe it. And speaking of mid, Penguins of Madagascar. I know a lot of people hate the Madagascar movies, but I've never had that same hatred. I've always thought that I liked all of them. The second is definitely my favorite, and we will get to that eventually. Sorry for the spoilers, but at the end of the day, I really like them. And then the Penguins of Madagascar movie, it's eh. Like, I wouldn't call it bad, but it lacks a lot of interest in general. It's kind of just drab, boring for a lot of it. And that's the same way I feel about Trolls and Turbo. Like, they're. Or let me get a lot of the mid ones out of the way, because these are a lot of the ones that I know people are gonna get upset that I am not putting lower. But like for me, I'm not so egregiously offended by these films as a lot of people are. It's just I don't really feel much towards them, but I will move Boss Baby and Turbo down because somehow they're both nothing and infuriating at the same time. So much of the shit in Turbo is just absolutely stupid. Like how he even gets his fucking powers in the first place. Turbo would have been dead 5 times over. Or sorry, Emil, which I don't want to say that name now that because Chugga Conroy shit. But Emil is just one of the most cliche characters, completely uninteresting. It's not that he's completely unlikable, but he just is so subpar, below average. Nothing is done to make the movie interesting. They have stereotypical Mexican characters with no real reason for them to be stereotypical Mexican characters. Like, if you were going to go for representation, why not? Like, why? This is what I hate about a lot of representation in a lot of movies. If you're going to represent a group, properly represent them. No representation is better than misrepresentation by a long shot, and Turbo just it fucks it up along with everything else. I don't think it's as bad as Shark Tale or Shrek the Third. I know a lot of people say it's the worst DreamWorks movie. I don't agree with that, but it's definitely down there. And then Boss Baby, like, it's just along with a lot of the shit just being stupid and played out, only made for children. Like, the characters are really unlikable. You think you'd like either one of the protagonists, at least one of the two, but nope. They're both absolutely awful to deal with. The side characters aren't even enjoyable. Like, I can't think of a single scene that I actually enjoy this day. I did used to like the confrontation scene where they have the falling out, but now it's just fucking laughable. Like, how did I enjoy that scene instead of laughing my ass off about it? And Trolls and Home, like, they're not anything terribly offensive or egregious. They're just overly, like, they're mediocre and so drab and nothing that it's not even really worth putting in bad because they don't do enough to be considered either good or bad, at least for me. I will be right back. I'm gonna go pee. Okay, I am back from going pee, and I just realized one thing that I probably should have done in the first video. Not doing the top 5 or top 10 until everything else is already done. Because there are a lot of contenders. So, it will take a bit to get there. But let's just get the easier ones out of the way. I liked Mr. Peabody and Sherman. It was surprisingly solid. They had some nice emotional moments. And it's just a really fun ride all throughout. Like, yes, Penny is an annoying sack of shit little bitch. And I'm talking about, like, in terms of her attitude, yeah, she's a bitch. And the fact that they really had to shove a child romance in a movie is just why. Like, I don't care if it's straight, gay, bi, whatever kind of romance is in. Just keep it PG, keep it in the PG-13 and above movies. Like, please. I don't care if it's a man and a woman at 15 years of age, or I guess in that case it would be boy and girl, not man and woman. But keep it out of anything below PG-13, even if it's straight. Like, I don't want to see relationships in kids' movies. It's fucking annoying. Although, it is kind of hypocritical for me to say that one. I fucking love all the Shrek movies. A lot of it isn't just because of the relationship stuff, and that's not relationships between kids. It's two full-grown ass adults. Okay. Now let's do the Aardman shit. All is about the same quality for me. They're all really solid in their own right. Of course, like, you can't go at all without talking about the brilliant animation. Like, stop motion is really a lost art that needs to be utilized more, and it's a shame that it died out with Aardman. Or, I shouldn't say died out, but the biggest stop motion company had to just stop making a lot of stop motion films, and a lot of that was because the unfortunate financial failure of Flush Away, causing Dreamworks to drop Aardman, which really sucks because we could have gotten a lot more stop motion from Aardman, which would have been amazing. Like I said, it's a lost art form which deserves much more respect. And all these 3 movies, they all have their strong suits. The characters are enjoyable. I don't need to talk about the animation. They're fun adventures. Like, yeah, they don't go above and beyond or anything, but they're enjoyable. And sometimes that's all you need. Speaking of being enjoyable, and sometimes that's all you need, a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but the bad guys, I liked it. I actually really did like it. The characters, pretty enjoyable. Even if a lot of the cliches did make me roll my eyes, of course the animation was phenomenal. That's one talking point that everyone talks about for a damn good reason. The animation is absolutely stellar and brilliant. It's just, despite it being good, what makes me put it below amazing is just everything was so cliche and to the point of predictability, and that's what I don't care for with it. It's just, I knew what was coming when it was coming, and it was frustrating to deal with that because if you can see everything that's coming in a movie, it's like, why even watch it at all? Next up, these two. I think both Croods movies are about on equal footing. The First Cruise used to be number two on the list of my favorite movies of all time. Now it's not even in the top 50. Like, it's fine. I really have grown to dislike the relationship between Eep and Guy. Again, romantic relationship between minors in a kids movie. Why? And uh it's not only that, it's also how creepy Eep is about it. It's like a stalkerish vibe. Like, it's like Sierra with Cody from Total Drama. She was toned down just enough to where kids wouldn't feel incredibly uncomfortable watching it. But now that I'm an adult, I'm just like, how? But other than the unnerving child romance, the movies were definitely enjoyable. Of course, the animation is one of the biggest talking points. Absolutely stellar. The lighting is phenomenal, some of the best. It's so vibrant and colorful. And the characters are enjoyable, but they also don't go above and beyond or anything. Grug is a meme, but a really forgettable one. Like, it's just both movies are solid, but they're nothing spectacular. They don't go really above and beyond to do anything, but they do have some stuff going for them. Okay. Now, the first Madagascar is definitely my least liked of them. I still like it, but overall, compared to the second and the third, it left a lot to be desired for me. The film was definitely solid, but it's just Alex got really fucking annoying. All the main four got their points of being annoying at some part in the movie, which is something that the sequels, yeah, maybe one or two characters of the main four had some sort of annoying plot line, but it never got as frustrating as the first could for me. But overall, the shit. Oh, I need okay, Austin, mental reset. Tap your head twice. Think of what you're going to say. Now deliver. The characters in the first are definitely the weakest that they are across the entire franchise, which you may expect it to be that way in a lot of first movies because, well, characters get more developed in sequels, but unfortunately, that doesn't end up being the case a lot of times. And Madagascar, it's just like a lot of it just feels like the actors aren't even acting as well. It feels like they're just talking, which for people as high caliber as they are, like Jada Smith, Chris Rock, Eaton Cohen, fucking, I think Ben Stiller. That's who plays Alex. Whoever plays King Julian, like, it just feels like these people aren't even acting in this specific Madagascar movie oftentimes. And the fact that it was as huge of a success as it is a bit baffling. But I guess, haha, funny animal movie, probably. But at the end of the day, while there's a lot that's just kind of subpar, I definitely enjoyed it. Like, it was good, but nothing spectacular. Okay, 14 movies left. Let me let me make a tier above to get rid of the ones I know for a fact are going to be in the top 10. Sorry about the spoilers. I just need to settle this. Okay. I will come back to that later, but Let's first get the ones that I don't quite think are top 10 out. Two more of all these films can be put in the top 10, and I think the first one that has to go for me is my second most liked Madagascar film, the third. Now, honestly, the third was a really enjoyable ride. It's like if Mr. Peabody and Sherman had more to. It's like if it didn't have that really annoying side character, because at this point, a lot of the characters have been more fleshed out. And yeah, the whole liar revealed storyline, it's frustrating to deal with, but it is resolved fairly nicely when a lot of movies just don't. It's a character realizing that they were stupid to. It's a character realizing that they were stupid to kick this person out for a lie when they literally needed to lie to save their own life, instead of the character that lied having to do something extravagant to apologize and be forgiven by people who felt betrayed, even though they were literally only trying to help those people for a lot of the time. And for the way that it handled it, yeah, the lie revealed plotline's always going to be annoying in any movie, but the resolution to it was pretty solid. I liked Bryan Cranston's character, Mitali, for sure. His storyline was always a bit comedic, trying to fit in smaller and smaller holes, or at least once I turned into a teen, because that's when my mind started flowing with all the innuendos. But even before that, his story was a bit tragic, and it turned into inspirational. The scene with Katy Perry's firework, absolutely brilliantly done. The song's not my cup of tea, personally, but the animation is absolutely stellar. The choreography, or circus choreography, is brilliant, which is something that I don't hear many people talk about in this movie. A lot of people talk about like fight choreography and Kung Fu Panda and the Kung Fu Panda movies and stuff like that, or travel choreography, but the circus choreography, which, like, I don't know what kind of choreography it would be considered, because like travel choreography isn't really what you would call how characters traveling from one location to another is called. I I kind of lost what I was saying, a lot of it, but holy shit, like it flows so well. It's not even just the colors themselves and the vibrancy of the scene. A lot of it is the way that the characters move. It feels so smooth and fluid. Whereas, if you go to, let's say, A Bug's Life, through a lot of stuff would look rather stiff. And I get that it's an unfair comparison because Madagascar 3 came out in, I think, 2012. But, or, okay, let's take Brave as another example. It's just because Brave came out in the same year. Brave's choreography with the bows, it's really uninteresting for a lot of it, which is unfortunate because it could have been so much better. It had a lot of potential that just kind of fell flat at the end. But I really do like where Madagascar 3 went with that scene. It's definitely the big standout of the movie, but a lot of it was just generally enjoyable, even if there are better films. Then we have Over the Hedge. I was shocked by how great this movie was on rewatch. Like, I'm not even joking here. The character depth is shockingly actually there. Like, RJ, yeah, it has a kind of lie revealed storyline, but this one isn't just. It's RJ himself, the liar, realizing he's been a sack of shit, and he starts to feel guilty about it even before the lie has been revealed, when the lie's still in progress. But he knows that he has to do it to save his own ass. And he's genuinely building real bonds with these people, so it makes the betrayal feel natural instead of just contrived and forced. And at the end of the day, like, you can't hate a movie that has the Verminator in it. Like, come on, the fucking Verminator. But Gladys and Vincent are okay villains, but the Verminator definitely stands out above everything else. Uh, what's his name? Fern, I think. Whatever the turtle. I'm just gonna refer to the turtle as Fern and hope that's correct. But Fern works really well as like a father figure is definitely not the right word. I guess like an authority figure? Question mark. But as a leader, he always has the best interest in mind, and a lot of times the best interest was to let them or let the other animals hang out with RJ because he saw that they were genuinely enjoying their time, which to him was more important than the morally gray shit that RJ was having them do for him. Overall, just a really solid movie, and it it's not even ironic enjoyment like B movie. It's just fucking good, fucking great. Okay, 9 of the top 10 slots are done, so I gotta get 3 of these out. Madagascar 2. Like, for me, Madagascar 2 is just, it's definitely the strongest. Yeah, of course, there's the lie revealed plotline, but I'm more forgiving with Madagascar 2's for a bit of a different reason. I need to reset. Think about what I'm saying. Okay, Austin. Here we go. The plotline for Madagascar 2's lie revealed, it's a bit dumb, but at the same time it works because it is everyone completely misunderstanding what Alex does. It's not him directly lying to them because he never actually lied. It's them just being stupid and not trying to find out what he actually meant. Which, yeah, it's a bit annoying, but at the same time, a lot of movies, even the great ones, do that, and it is forgivable for me. And at the end of the day, it definitely has the strongest emotional moments out of the entire trilogy for me, which is a thing that puts it above and beyond. Like, for instance, the opening scene of the fucking movie. As a kid, I felt nothing towards it, but now, seeing a toddler get kidnapped and tossed into the ocean in a crate with barely or no food at all, somehow a fish got in there by the end of it, but it's just fucking tragic and depressing. And the feeling that I get when I see Alex reunite with his family, even though, yeah, we know that's coming, it's still like my heart fucking pounding like that, but less sexual sounding. It's just, it's so fucking sad. And then the moment with Gloria and Melman near the end, it's really sweet. Like, Melman calling out Moto, telling him to treat Gloria the way that she deserves to be treated, is really nice, and it's a scene that I wish I could see more of the archetype of across cinema. Because we don't really see many scenes like that in the modern day, which is rather unfortunate. And the scene where Gloria realizes how much she really does care about Melman when he ends up sacrificing himself for the water, it's just, it really is. Like, it's nothing spectacular, that scene in and of itself, but it's definitely enjoyable. The movie's also just a lot of really goofy, zany fun, like the other Madagascar movies, but it does go a step above the other two, at least in my opinion. Shrek 4. While I don't like this nearly as much as the second, and it's a bit worse than the first for me, it's absolutely still enjoyable, and there's no question about that. Like, I do wish that Puss had a bit more character, but other than that, the how everything is at the beginning, it has the sense of realism that is needed to carry the dramatic weight. It feels like this is something that would happen in real life. Someone's life just getting completely warped from what it would be and them missing what it was, forgetting to appreciate what they have in the moment. Then, but seeing how Shrek has to regain all that when everything is lost, he has to put in the work ethic in order to truly appreciate what he had and try to regain it. That is something that so little movies do nowadays, and it's really fucking well done. It's just absolutely great. Fiona actually has a character for the first time since Shrek 2, which, okay, like, that was only 2 movies ago, but it really is a refresher after seeing her in the first movie, damsel in distress, locked in a tower, like basic fairy tale princess. In the second, she actually had some really compelling drama that she had something, it just wasn't. She should have had more, is what I'm trying to say. Ugh. Even though she did have something. And then in the third, she was just pregnant. And the princesses talking to her about pregnancy. Like, Fiona was completely one note in Shrek 3, which is unfortunate because they really could have developed her character through the fact that she was pregnant. But Shrek Forever After, having to build up that relationship again and make Shrek realize what he had in order to regain it. He can't just make the deal to go back to the way it was, and he has to be truly selfless. It's really something beautiful to see. It just, and it sucks that we haven't gotten many movies like this in the modern day. And I think the last one that's not going to be top 10, I'm sorry, is the original Shrek. Because this last movie I just love too much not to put in the top 10 somewhere. Shrek is, it's a fucking classic. Like, I can't put it at an ironic enjoyment because while it is a god among memes, it honestly is fucking great. Hold up, let me just... There we go. Because Shrek, honestly, is a really fucking well-made movie. Like, yes, it's made to be a parody of fairy tales to shit on Disney. But we get a legitimately likable main character. We get some really solid emotional moments. Like when Shrek finally lets out and vents to Donkey about everyone always judges before they actually get to know him. And they just run, and Fiona having to accept who she truly is, Shrek having to let himself feel his emotions instead of trying to hide himself. Like, Donkey can be a bit annoying, but he doesn't go overboard at all. It's just a really fucking enjoyable, good movie, and Farquaad, unlike fucking Prince Charming, poses a legitimate threat to the two, even if he is made fun of. It's not like him being made fun of removes any sense of threat that he has, because it's not like the two are already together. I think that was one of the biggest things for Prince Charming, is that in the second, the big, like, yes, his goal was royalty, but he tried to achieve that through getting with Fiona when she already had someone. And it was really well done in the second movie, but the third movie, it's just like, well, you don't have the royalty. You can't really go after the girl anymore after what happened in the last movie. So we're just going to make you one of the most cliche, poorly written, underdeveloped characters imaginable. But that doesn't happen with Farquaad. He is, like, he's a complete dictator who will use coercion and threats to get anyone to do what he wants. And it's honestly really nice. Like, yeah, I know it's calling out Disney, absolutely. But he is a surprisingly well-written villain, considering the fact that it's just a Disney parody. And absolutely brilliant movie. Like, there's no other way to put it. It's DreamWorks' biggest movie. It started their biggest franchise. It's the main reason that they're so well known, and for good reason. Okay, but for now, this will end this part of the video. So, just to end it off, here are the movies that I have not watched: the awful, the bad, the mid, the good, the ironic enjoyment. Wait, let me put ironic enjoyment below good. The amazing, the meme movie but legitimately great. And then I really should have saved talking about this until I was ready to talk about the rest of the top 10. But since I already talked about the first Kung Fu Panda, I'll just leave it in that category so don't have to go over it again. But while this is definitely a spoiler, like, you could already see what it was going to be from where everything else was, what the next 9 movies would be. So, we will be covering these 9 in the next one. And hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you on the next video. See you whenever that happens.